Estonia questions: how to dismantle the state captured, how to improve economic development, how to make our judiciary system more independent, how to upgrade our legal framework, how to invest and improve the quality of human resources. Dorin, you have the floor.
Thank you. The mic. Yes, hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you, Stella. It's an honor to be here for the second year and to try and give my contributions to bettering the homeland and to truly make some change that will have, a lasting impact. I am very happy that Madam Minister, brought up the concept of, state capture. I'm going to elaborate on that just a little bit and then go to a list of solutions. So, state capture is basically a concept when the economy grows faster, there's more wealth unleashed than there is, regulation to kind of, control it. That happened in a lot of countries, a lot of the post-Soviet bloc countries, and we seem to be front and center. I would say the Russian Federation is front and center. All the academic literature says that state capture occurs when there's a clearly delineated frontier between business and government. So in very few words, what happens is big business buys the laws that it needs to keep going. Unfortunately, I think we are way past that, way past that. I think we are, and I've mentioned this before, an oligarchy and I don't think you can tell the difference anymore, because I think if you look at the current members of the Moldovan government, and if we were to get a European banking watchdog, I'm sure that we would find that they have very nice real estate properties and bank accounts and so on. So now what we have is we have this intertwined, triangle of government, big business, and a sizable criminal element, which is exactly what's happening in the Russian Federation. Now, let me ask you this. If I asked you, how would you turn Russia, around? It is impossible. I cannot see. I can rack my, my brain. I cannot see a way out of that except through either bloodshed or internal strife or a major conflict. So, who are we dealing with? We're not dealing with just the Moldovan, the Moldovan populace, where I hear a lot that we need to educate, and so that they can vote better. Well, you can't vote better when all your choices are false. You can't. They're presented with false choices. Do you want to eat healthy? Okay, there's a Burger King and then there's a McDonald's. You do have a choice. Is that really? It's not a choice. So, but the only way to fight this, we have to understand, we are up against billionaires that will do everything they can to stay in power. Throw out hope, throw out all those four-letter words, and let's come up and let's unite. So, now I want to talk about a list of solutions, so where do we actually start? I think the most important thing is that the diaspora has to truly recognize that we need to form here, far away from home, an identity, a national identity. We, as Moldovans, have always suffered from a splintering. I'm from the north, I'm from the south, I'm this, I'm that, I don't speak that language, we've never had a national identity. Here, it doesn't matter. You could be from a different country, you can be from Alabama, you can be from the Silicon Valley, you're American. We don't have that. We never have. So I think it is important that we start here with that, and then come up with coherent goals, because only that will, will allow us to actually do that. So, how do we do that? Are the powers that be, people that control everything right now, are they going to let us in through the front door? No. It's going to be almost like scaling a castle. So, number one thing that we have to do is we have to think in terms of how to politically, because the point of all of this is not just talking. If the solution of this convention is purely verbal, then we have failed. We have utterly failed. So we need to have, concrete steps, and one of these steps is, can we, as a diaspora, and I don't know how many of us are in Canada and in the U.S., 100,000, 150,000, can we raise $1 million? Can we raise $1 million where our voice is heard, and we can actually implement some of what Minister Sandu has suggested, which is to bring people from the outside. I firmly believe that the Republic of Moldova has reached a point where organic change from within is impossible. We're past that. We're going off a cliff. Now we're just trying to find a parachute. So it is very important that that we support the forces on the ground. And it is the opposition. It is, because we have to somehow, help the people that share our ideas to implement them. And that help, comes with funding. That help comes with all of us know people that are experts. It's been done before. Economies have been turned around in a decade. We love to debate issues that are second and third tier, but we don't like to debate existential issues because they are scary. If I told you that $20 billion has left Moldova in the last 20 years, that's wealth. That is what this apparatus, this cancer that is the head of our country, has basically looted. And that is why our GDP is still one of the lowest, on the European continent. It's $2,000 per annum per person. Romania next door is 10. Poland is 15. We're not talking 20, 30%. We're talking multiples and multiples and multiples. So the other thing is to, I refuse this notion that the Moldovan populace is very educated and is very familiar with the issues. The opposite is true, the absolute opposite, because we don't have transparency. Every politician in this country, in the West, has to file a financial statement where his or her income comes from. Every wire that goes out of that country should have a principal actually sign on it. We somehow, $1.5 billion obviously left the country. Somebody had to sign on it. Does anybody here know who? I don't. It wasn't me. So that is, and I hope by supporting the forces, back home that share the ideas that we have acquired here, because I believe that we in North America we've acquired very different ideals than, let's say, our compatriots who live on the European continent, because America makes you wake up very quickly. America has very unforgiving institutions. It makes you learn very quickly. So I think it is our duty to help the opposition, and I will use that word because that's what it is. When you fight something that is so bad for you, you are technically opposing it. That we fund, we help shape and we also, help fund some kind of a platform that truly educates the populace where they can make informed choices. People are obviously struggling. And look, if I didn't have anything to eat and I had children and somebody offered me, $50 to vote for them, I would, and so would the most of you. So I think it is disingenuous to attribute capabilities to the majority of the people back home when they're not in a position to make those right choices. So this is my, also media. Media has, I heard before that there's, there's too much media. Yeah, there's too much media, but they're all talking about, the same thing. It's like this low-level political gossip. Nobody talks about the big thing. Here, everybody knows who the Koch brothers are. Everybody knows who George Soros is, and they all know their political leanings. And you might not agree with them. There's Fox News, there's MSNBC. Back home, everything is kept to this low-level political chatter, and therefore, there was a recent report, we have one of the lowest voter sophistication indices in the world. So I honestly don't want to hear about how informed our people are. Our people are struggling way too hard to be informed, and they consume the sugary stuff. They consume the stuff that appeals to something that's very easily digestible, as opposed to something that actually takes a fair amount to process, so you can make kind of a true choice. So I will kind of slowly conclude my remarks, but there's one more thing that I wanted to say, and this is how do we, and it seems that Moldova is a very small country. People say it's 3.5 million, a few years of doing the right thing and everything's going to be fine. Unfortunately, not true. Look at Russia. Again, Russia is a great example if you want to know where we're going to end up in a few years if we don't really do anything. In Russia, the top 110 people own 37% of household wealth. If that were true for the United States, the top 330 people would be worth $110 billion each. That would amount to about $35 trillion. Now, the richest guy in this country is Bill Gates. He's worth about $70, and then it drops off precipitously. So here's what happens, and there's a lot of literature that talks about income, inequality. So income inequality is something that is much more important for developed nations. Very few people talk about, wealth inequality. So wealth inequality is far more dangerous because wealth inequality subverts a democracy. Let's say I am the richest guy, and one of you has the purest intentions of all. You know what? I guarantee you, you have a price. So by the virtue of the fact that I control a lot of the resources in the country and a lot of its wealth, I can subvert any true democratic attempt. So I agree. I agree with the Madam Minister that the only solution is to root this out. There's no working around it. There's no hoping for for reforms. So we can talk about it later. I will conclude on this note, but just like I said last time, the time is here and the time is now, and make no mistake about it, we are going off a cliff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dorin. So no cosmetic changes. organic change in our country is impossible, how we, the diaspora, can get organized and support, shape a platform that can help educate our people, our country fellows, to make choices, well-informed choices. So these are just some of the key remarks, key suggestions, insights from Dorin. And I liked what Dorin said, America makes you wake up and learn very quickly. So I've been here only for 6 months, and I can confirm this is the case. Now,